My name is Celeste Harper, I'm 28 years old, and I will always remember the day my relatives attempted to seize everything from me without realizing that I had already secured my future. I had always been the dependable daughter, the one who put in the effort, while my younger sister Lila, now 25, lived her life like a social media influencer. While she flaunted luxury handbags and European getaways, I was at the office working long hours to help oversee the family enterprise. Our father, Gregory Harper, had built a boutique hospitality empire from the ground up, and I had been learning the trade since I was 16. Subscribe to the Soulful Stories channel today and stay updated. Never miss a single story. Celeste, you must understand this industry demands sacrifices. My father would remind me whenever I had to cancel plans with friends to stay late reviewing contracts. Meanwhile, Lila burned through our family's wealth without a second thought. Your sister is young, let her enjoy life, she'll mature eventually, my mother Vivian would always say in her defense. But Lila never did. At 25, she still lived in our parents' mansion with no real job beyond her social media presence, while I was managing 3 of our most successful resorts, working 12-hour days. Everything changed 6 months ago when I met Damien, our new financial consultant. He was astute, forthright, and quick to detect something alarming in our company's financial reports. One day, he stepped into my office and shut the door behind him. Celeste, he said, his tone serious, I've been examining the accounts from the past 5 years. Did you know your sister has spent over $2 million of company funds? My world came to a standstill. What? He laid several documents on my desk: travel costs, luxury shopping sprees, extravagant parties. Everything was meticulously categorized under marketing expenses. She claims she's the brand's social media ambassador, Damien explained. That night, I confronted my father. His response left me ice cold. I know, Celeste. I authorized those expenditures. $2 million in personal spending? Are you serious? My father removed his glasses and exhaled slowly. Look, you have your way of contributing to the company, and she has hers. That conversation was my wake-up call. 4 years, I had worked tirelessly, hoping to earn my father's respect, but the truth was I never would. Damien became my ally. Over the next few months, we meticulously documented every irregularity, every questionable transaction, every unnecessary expenditure. He also helped me realize something crucial: my rights. As it turned out, I was the majority stakeholder in the company. Years ago, my father had structured ownership that way for tax purposes, never expecting that I would one day leverage that authority. You need to safeguard yourself, Damien urged. Your family is treating the company like their personal cash reserve. But that wasn't the worst part. He warned me that my father was preparing to transfer significant assets, including my own home. They're drafting documents to transfer the house to Lila. I froze. My house? The one I purchased with my own earnings. Technically, you bought it with your company's salary. They argue that it was a corporate gift and can be reassigned. That night, I couldn't sleep. The home I had worked so hard for, the one place I had built to escape my toxic family, could be taken away with a mere signature. But Damien and I had a strategy. The moment of truth arrived on my 28th birthday. My family threw an opulent celebration at our parents' estate. Everyone was present: my parents, Lila, aunts, uncles, cousins, even business associates. During the toast, Lila stood up holding a crystal champagne flute, one that probably cost $500. I have a special announcement, she declared, her dazzling smile aimed at the crowd. My father has given me the most incredible gift: Celeste's house. The room fell silent for a brief moment before applause erupted. My mother beamed with pride, my father avoided my gaze. Isn't it amazing? Lila continued. Since Celeste is always at the office, she doesn't really need such a big house. I'll put it to better use. I rose slowly, my heart pounding but my mind sharp. You're right, Lila, I am too busy at the office. I reached into my handbag and pulled out a folder. And since we're making announcements, I have one of my own. The room fell silent as I opened the folder. All eyes were on me. Lila was still smiling, completely oblivious to what was about to unfold. She thought this was just another corporate formality, something routine, insignificant. As CEO and majority shareholder of our boutique hospitality firm, I have a few important updates. My voice was firm, professional. First, effective immediately, all personal expenses will require board approval, not just the president's signature. Lila's smile faltered. My father straightened in his chair. Second, I have initiated a full audit of the company's financial records for the past 5 years, I continued, locking eyes with my sister. That includes all marketing expenditures related to social media. Celeste, my father interjected, his voice tense, this isn't the time or place. Isn't it? I shot back. Didn't you just use my birthday party to announce that you were gifting my house to Lila? I turned to the guests, our extended family, business associates, and board members. A house I bought with my own salary after years of hard work. Across the room, Damien stood up and distributed folders to the board members in attendance. Inside these folders, you will find evidence of corporate fund misappropriation exceeding $2 million, I announced. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as I continued. Personal expenses disguised as marketing costs, luxury vacations falsely reported as business trips, designer shopping sprees categorized as market research. Lila turned pale. This is absurd, she sputtered. Dad approved all of those expenses. I am the brand's image. The brand's image. I echoed, pressing a button on the room's presentation screen. A slideshow of Lila's Instagram posts appeared. So let's take a look. Parties in Ibiza, marketing for family-friendly hotels? Designer handbags, market research. My mother shot to her feet, her face red with fury. Celeste, how dare you humiliate your sister like this? I met her gaze, unflinching. Humiliate her? The way you tried to humiliate me by taking my house on my own birthday. My father intervened, trying to regain control. This is a family matter, he said, his voice edged with authority. I ask all non-family members to leave. I'm afraid that's not possible, Damien interrupted, now fully in his role as our financial consultant. Since this involves potential corporate fraud, the board members have both the right and the obligation to be present. The next few minutes were pure chaos. Lila was crying, insisting it was all a misunderstanding. My mother was shouting about family loyalty. My father was desperately trying to calm the board members, who were flipping through documents with increasing concern. When the noise finally died down, I cleared my throat. There's more. I reached into my folder and pulled out another set of documents. As CEO and majority shareholder, I have made some executive decisions. First, the transfer of my house to Lila has been blocked. In fact, I have filed a legal injunction preventing any corporate property transfers without full board approval. My father's face darkened. You can't do this, he snapped. Actually, I can, I said calmly. I am the majority shareholder, remember? You structured it that way years ago for tax benefits. His jaw tightened. That was just a technicality, he muttered. I was supposed to retain actual control. A tense silence filled the room. Several board members shook their heads, scribbling notes. Thank you for clarifying that, Dad, I said smoothly. Anyone else care to admit to corporate manipulation? Lila lunged toward me, her face twisted with rage. Damien stepped between us. Careful, he warned. Attacking a corporate executive during an official meeting carries serious legal consequences. Lila froze, her fists clenched. You're just jealous, she spat. You've always been jealous of me. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Jealous of what? That you've never worked a single day in your life? That you've wasted millions on parties while I built this company from the ground up? Enough, my father slammed his hand against the table. Celeste, if you continue down this path, you will destroy this family. I met his gaze, unwavering. No, Dad, you destroyed this family when you decided that hard work meant nothing, that responsibility was a joke, and that my dedication was worth less than Lila's selfies. My father stepped closer, lowering his voice. We can fix this privately. There's no need for the entire board to. I raised my voice deliberately. Oh, now you want privacy? After humiliating me in front of everyone? No, Dad, this gets settled here and now. I stood before the board of directors, my posture straight, my expression unwavering. The weight of years of hard work, sacrifice, and betrayal pressed down on me, but I refused to let it show. This was my moment, the moment to reclaim what was mine, to set things right. I took a steady breath and spoke with the authority I had rightfully earned as CEO. I am proposing the following immediate measures. First, all personal expense accounts will be frozen until further notice. Second, an external audit will be conducted on all financial transactions to ensure full transparency. And third, the executive leadership team will undergo a complete restructuring to align with the company's best interests moving forward. I turned to the board members, each of them watching intently, some nodding in agreement. Who seconds the motion? I asked. For a moment there was hesitation, then one by one, hands began to rise around the table. First one, then another, then several more until the decision was clear. Across from me, my father slumped slightly in his chair, his once commanding presence diminished. He looked exhausted, like the weight of the years and the weight of his own choices had finally caught up to him. Lila, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly switched tactics. She leaned forward, her expression softening, her voice taking on a pleading tone. Celeste, please, she murmured, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. We're sisters, we're family. How can you do this to us? For the first time that night, my voice wavered. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to keep my composure, but the words struck something deep within me. Family. I echoed, almost in disbelief. My hands clenched at my sides, and when I spoke again, my voice carried the weight of years of silent resentment. Where was family when I was working weekends while you were out drinking and dancing? Where was family when you all decided that my house, the house I paid for with my own money, the home I built for myself, was just another asset to be gifted away? The silence was deafening. Damien stepped forward then, placing another thick stack of documents on the table. His expression was unreadable, but his posture exuded quiet authority. There's something else we need to discuss, he said. The personal accounts. At those words, my father's face went pale. He gripped the edge of the table as if he needed the support to stay upright. In a voice barely above a whisper, he muttered, "Please stop." But I wasn't going to stop, not now, not after everything. I squared my shoulders. Why? I asked, my voice sharp. Because now everyone knows the truth? Because the board finally sees what's been happening behind closed doors? Because your plan to use this company as your personal piggy bank is finally over? Tears streamed down my mother's face. She shook her head, her voice trembling. Everything we did for the good of the family. I let out a quiet, humorless laugh. No, I said, shaking my head. You did it for yourselves. Because it was easier to give Lila everything she wanted than to teach her how to stand on her own 2 feet. Because it was easier to misuse company money than to earn things the right way. Because it was easier to pretend the problem didn't exist than to actually fix it. The following days were brutal. The audit uncovered even more financial mismanagement than we had initially suspected. Lila hadn't spent $2 million, she had blown through nearly 3. Extravagant vacations disguised as business trips, luxury shopping sprees labeled as market research, lavish parties passed off as brand engagement. And my parents, they had hidden personal accounts quietly funded by the company for years, siphoning money away while I worked tirelessly to build our empire. The board wasted no time in taking action. They voted unanimously in favor of my reforms. Strict financial controls were put in place, ensuring no one, family or not, could abuse company funds again. A new professional leadership team was brought in to oversee operations. And Lila, she lost her position as the face of the brand. Days later, she stormed into my office, her face red with fury, her hands clenched into fists. "What the hell am I supposed to do now?" she shouted. "You ruined my life." I didn't even blink. "There's an entry-level position open in the marketing department," I replied smoothly. "Starting salary, just like everyone else. You could learn the business from the ground up, like I did." Her face twisted in rage. "You're awful. I hate you." I met her gaze, unshaken. "No, Lila," I said quietly. "I'm the only one who actually cares about your future." My parents eventually came to accept the new reality, though it took time. My father, after months of resistance, finally admitted something I never thought I'd hear. "I built this company from nothing," he told me one evening. "But you turned it into something better, something that will last." My mother took longer to come around, but when she saw Lila finally working, really working for the first time in her life, something shifted. To everyone's surprise, Lila accepted the entry-level job. At first, she was bitter, resentful, but little by little, she started putting in the effort. And to her own shock, she realized that she was actually good at marketing when she truly applied herself. One night, my mother sighed, watching Lila work late at her desk. Maybe we were too soft on her," she admitted. Now, 2 years later, Sterling Hotels is thriving. Lila has finally found purpose beyond just looking good for the cameras. My parents have learned to respect the boundaries of business and family. And me? I still live in my house, the one I worked hard for and fought to keep. It's not just a place to live, it represents my independence and the sacrifices I made along the way. But more importantly, I now run this company with the professionalism it always needed. There are no more blurred lines between family and business. I lead the company with the same dedication and focus I've always had, even when my efforts went unnoticed. Loving your family doesn't always mean giving in or letting them take advantage of you. Sometimes it means setting boundaries. It means making decisions that are difficult but necessary for your own growth. I had to step up and make the tough choices, even if they disappointed people I cared about. It wasn't easy, but it was the right thing to do. Damien, now my husband, has been a constant support through all of this. He wasn't just my financial advisor, he became someone I could rely on completely. From the moment we started working together, he understood the situation better than anyone. The trust and respect we've built between us made all the difference. One piece of advice Damien gave me, something that stayed with me throughout everything, was sometimes you have to shake the family tree so the rotten apples fall, and the strong ones finally have room to grow. At first, it didn't fully click, but now, as I see how things have turned out, I realize how much that advice shaped my decisions. Letting go of the things that weren't serving me, whether it was family dynamics or toxic behaviors, opened the door for something better. The business is in a better place, and so am I. I don't regret any of it. What matters now is that I'm in control and I've built something I'm truly proud of. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. This is Soulful Stories, where love and justice always find their way. See you next time.